centenary Crufts. And as the show embarks now on its next 100 years, which dog will win the 1992 Crufts Dog Show? Well, dozens of rosettes there to buy, but of course the really important rosettes here at Crufts are the ones that you win. Good evening and welcome to the NEC here in Birmingham. You've joined us a little later than we'd hoped, but it's really good to have your company now. And indeed, you join us as we come to the end of the third day of this four-day competition. Now, there are some 20,000 dogs being judged this year. Oh, my goodness, what a great success the show has been yet again. Thousands of people here in the Midlands have discovered that Crufts really does offer a great day out for the whole family. There's lots of entertainment, and you can practically do the week shopping because there are so many trade stands here. But if you want to win one of these magnificent trophies, then you have to start the really serious work out in the breed rings.
Well, my congratulations to the new world darts champion, but I can tell you there's a few potential champions in the ring behind me at the moment. This is the hound group actually being judged by June Minns. She's got quite a task on her hand. Almost 3,000 hounds were here today, and she's got to pick the best. She's got all the best of breed out there, so whatever she chooses, it's bound to be a jolly good dog, and we look forward to seeing that. Let's go back now to the first day of Crufts, when one of the first visitors here was a senior vice president of the Kennel Club, His Grace the Duke of Wellington. Now, he came here on the first day, as I said, shown into the gamekeepers class ring by the chairman of the Crufts committee, Mike Stockman, also the chairman of the Kennel Club, John McDougall. Here's being introduced to some of the officials in the gamekeeper class's ring.
You know, even people who watch this programme annually still say to me, how do the dogs actually get through to the final? Well, it's really simple, really. This is how they organise the competition. First of all, each dog is judged against a breed standard in the breed judging ring, and the best dog or bitch then goes on to represent its breed in the main ring for the evening group judging. Now, there are 6 groups: toys, utilities, gun dogs, terriers, hounds and working dogs. 1 or 2 groups are judged every evening on the four-day show, and then each group produces a winner, which returns on the final day for the best in show competition to find the supreme champion at Crufts.
Well, it's maybe some little time before the hound group actually gets the winner brought forward there, but we may have it by the end of the programme, in which case we'll let you know. But earlier, we had the terrier group judging. Now, that was a difficult task for the judge as well. 2,114 terriers were here, but eventually we ended up with 25 best of breed in the ring there, and the judge, Maureen Micklethwaite, had to pick her winner from them. Well, once again, all superb dogs. They're all best of breed. She had to make a choice, and after a lot of deliberation, she eventually went over, surprising a lot of people. But I tell you, this is an absolutely superb dog. In fact, it's a bitch. It's the Skye Terrier, owned and handled by Alan Stevenson. He's a co-owner with Peter Chappell. They come from Wakefield. It's champion Jabusa Miranda at Marikita, known as Carmen. And what a jolly little girl she is. And the reserve, well, that took some deliberation as well. The reserve for the group was a Welsh Staffordshire Bull Terrier, champion Bullseye of Dogan, owned by Bryn and Anne Cadogan. Very nice group. Well, there was a lot of excitement here when that judging was done. There's still excitement going on, as I'm sure you can hear behind me at the moment. But all around these halls, around the small rings that Angela was describing earlier, there's tremendous excitement as people flock to those to support their own favourite breed being judged. It's all a very serious business, but I tell you, there is one ring here at Crufts where everything is done just for fun.
Tired of watching all the serious stuff up in the main arena, why not come down here to the special events arena, where you'll find that the dogs are having the time of their lives. Believe it or not, these are the biters and fighters. At least they were before the Essex dog training team got hold of them. Take Max, for instance. He's had 3 owners in his 2 short years, and according to team director Roy Dyer, was the nastiest dog he'd ever come across. Just look at him now. All 16 dogs in the team have troubled backgrounds, but the Essex group set out to prove that you can teach an old dog new tricks and give a bad dog a good name with love, patience and training. A message that was barked loud and clear for the audience as much as the dogs.
Well, she really does enjoy herself.
They retrain around 100 dogs a year at Essex. Some have been appallingly brutalised, others just abandoned. But instead of being destroyed or written off, they're brought back into society and shown that life really can be loads of fun.
Look at that.
And talking of fun, on your marks, get set for fly ball.
Now he's messed it off. Tempest Tiddlers have got the dog back first. So they've got one dog back. Tempest Tiddlers in the lead. And they're just getting their first
And
dog
really,
back
that's all there is to it.
by
Simple, isn't it? You just need supersonic speed, intense competition, and keep your eye on the ball.
with two to the other side. And on the last dog there, Tempest Tiddlers, yes, and they win that leg. So Tempest Tiddlers get the first leg, and it's a best of three.
Since it was first shown here at Crufts a couple of years ago, flyball really has taken off. 16 teams are competing this year in a knockout championship in which the dogs need the speed of Akabuzi, the clean jumping of a desert orchid, and the ball control of a Gary Lineker. Well, they love it, obviously, and so does the audience.
And you may chance at the end of the day, yes, Trevor Park coming back, Gordon's got too great a distance between. Both got three dogs back. It's all on the last one. And who's going to get back first?
Well, the humans all take that terribly seriously, but I don't think the dogs care who win. They're having too much fun. Well, as Peter says, we hope that we might be able to bring you the result of the hound group before we leave this evening, but we've already had results in 4 groups. That's the toys, the terriers, the utilities, and the gun dogs. So let's catch up on the action, starting first of all with the toy group. Now, there are 20 breeds of toy dogs, all devoted companions. Now, they may be small and attractive, but believe me, inside those tiny bodies beats a big heart. And they're very much a one-person dog, and that makes them excellent personal guards. Well, the judge, Mr. Lionel Hamilton Rennick, has pulled out 8 dogs for closer scrutiny. So why don't we take a closer look at them with Les Crawley, starting with the smooth-coated Chihuahua champion Dorenti's Terrific Trevor. Just 2 years old and not surprisingly known as Trev at home in Oldham, where owner Dorothy Entwistle reckons he's a bit of a snob, Les.
Well, he's certainly got that look about him, hasn't he? He might only be 2 to 4 pounds in weight, which is the desired weight, but he's all big dog, isn't he? We're looking for an alert little dog, small, dainty, compact, and I think we've got that here.
The Griffon Bruxelloise champion Dorlove Jimmy Mack, who apparently has a split personality. He thinks he's a sheepdog and rounds up all the chickens at home in Wigan, but the judges are in no doubt about what he is. He's been the top British Griffon for the past 5 years.
And it's not surprising, is it? He's lovely and square, he's compact, exactly what we're looking for with that harsh coat and a good driving movement.
Well, this is quite an occasion for Nikki Hunter from Roehampton, because Berners Hill's Sophia is her first ever show dog, and she's been judged best of the 62 Italian greyhounds at Crufts this year.
And really, what a thrill that must be. It's a gorgeous little dog, like a greyhound in miniature, and the movement, high-stepping and free, is very important.
Well, it's a return visit to the main arena for champion Greener J. Julie's Boy of Katana. He was best of breed for King Charles Spaniels 2 years ago, and apparently has aspirations to do obedience like the family's border collie.
And why not, indeed? They've got the brain for it. It's a lovely little dog, isn't it? A square dog again. Shorter in foreface than the Cavalier King Charles, but one of great beauty, I think.
Well, the miniature pincher champion Toralie Talk of the Town at Telidor also trod this same path last year when she was best of breed in the Centenary Show. Known as Movie, she's partial to the odd glass of Irish coffee.
And aren't we all? It originated in Germany as a breed. It's, again, a tough little dog, sturdy, compact, and at the same time, very elegant.
Youngest dog in the lineup at 16 months, the Pekingese Yaki Got What It Takes, or Busby, at home in Glasgow, where his dad is Yaki For Your Eyes Only, who was reserve best in show at Crufts in 1990.
What lovely names they have. Judged by a real Pekingese expert this year. Don't let anybody tell you that these dogs are just lap dogs. They're tough, they're amusing, they're companion dogs, they're fearless and sometimes rather aloof, and I think you can see that here. Great mane of fur, heavy-bodied, smashing little dog.
Well, the trip from Sunderland was obviously worth it for Mrs. Nancy Tarbet. Her bitch pug champion Rosalia of Nanchill was judged the best out of 151.
It's a very square cobby dog, and this one really is one to watch, I think. It's done, as Angela says, so much winning. 14 to 18 pounds they go, so there's a lot of dog there. I think they're great fun. They've got that wicked expression, great sense of humour.
Well, they say that toy dogs are perfect companion animals, just right for sleeping on your bed, which is exactly what this Pomeranian does. Champion Thelburn Oliver Twist from Lyriva. This is the second year running that it's been best of breed at Crufts.
And again, not surprising, it's a Spitz breed, isn't it? And obviously, very akin to some of the Arctic breeds. Great coat, lovely movement there, and what an expression on that face.
Well, Mr. Hamilton Rennick is an equine painter by profession, so he's got a keen eye for line. Which dog in this quality lineup has caught it? Well, it's the pug, Mrs. Nancy Tarbet of Sunderland, with champion Rosalia of Nanchill. It's already been best in show at 2 other competitions in the past year. I wonder, can it pull it off? Now it's at the big one at Crufts. While the reserve goes to the Pekingese. Yaki got what it takes. Just 16 months old, and obviously quite a career ahead of it. A shake and kiss of congratulation there from Bert Easden, while Mrs. Tarbet gets ready to receive the winner's trophy from High Sheriff for the West Midlands, Mr. B. Tanner, and then has time to consider her win. She's quite vocal.
Oh, yes.
Now, you're no stranger at all to being best in show because she's won several times.
She's the best in shows, yes.
Tell us a little bit about her. Is she a house dog?
Oh, yes. She lives in the house and sits mostly on my knee when I'm sitting down.
Now, it's 20 years or more since a dog from the toy group has actually won at Crufts. How do you reckon your chances?
Oh, I don't know. I'll wait and see. One never knows. It's just, well, you always live in hopes.
This time at Crufts, for the first time ever, the Kennel Club are saluting the personality dogs. That's 20 animals who throughout the year have made some outstanding contribution to the community, either through bravery, raising money for charity, really a whole host of accomplishments. And the man who'll be telling us all about those personalities in the ring is Les Crawley, who's with me now. Les, actually, we've got 2 of the personalities as well, and they're quite characters, aren't they? The noisy one, who's he?
Getting on that. This is Zen. He's an elk hound. He's 3 years old. And his story is quite dramatic because he was out walking about 5:30 one morning last year and alerted his handler to the fact that he'd found a newborn baby just hours old. So that
You
is...
couldn't ignore that, actually, could you?
Hardly, but that is really some story.
That's tremendous. And actually, we do now know that the baby who was abandoned and its mother had been reunited. So well done, Zen.
Well done, Zen.
And this?
Well, this is Archie. He's 11. He's a Labrador flat coat retriever cross. He's a super character. He goes into schools and helps the kids, talks to the kids, education, and very, very important, of course, these days. But more than that, he goes into hospitals where there are people that are dog phobic, who are frightened of dogs. So he goes in and says, look, I'm lovely, most dogs are like me, smashing.
Actually, he's a lovely, friendly old
Wonderful
character, isn't
character.
he? But as I say, you've got 20 superb dogs in the ring. Let's hear about some of the others. Ooh, thank you. Well, after all the bad publicity dogs have had this past year, this really is the other side of the coin. Amos is one of the newly introduced companion dogs for the disabled, and he's not just good company for his wheelchair-bound master, Colin Barber. He's a working member of the family and even accompanies Colin to the university, where he lectures in Cardiff. Meet Lottie the Rottie, rescued 8 months ago from an owner who used her as bait for fighting dogs. One ear's been completely ripped off. She's covered in scars and cigarette burns. But now she's loved, treated kindly, and makes visits to schools and hospitals as a pat dog, her good nature still surprisingly shining through. 8 gun dogs who genuinely do work for a living on estates in the southwest and at Sandringham. In fact, 4 of them were out shooting with the Queen just 2 days before they came to Crufts. Another of the workers is Lad, who's come with Katie Cropper, winner of One Man and His Dog with another Border Collie trim. Lad recently had a leg amputated, and Katie reckons it really makes the men mad to be beaten by a woman and a 3-legged dog. Finally, Dido, a journalist dog. She's written a book about her owner, spy writer Chapman Pincher, and taking a leaf out of his book, she's blown the gaff on the family secrets. And of course, if she ever needs material for a new book, Well, there are dogs here with plenty of stories to tell in that personality parade.
The first day of the show this year is devoted to the gun dogs, all 4,239 of them. And to help us cast our rather inexpert eyes over them is an expert indeed. He's a highly respected dog journalist, also secretary of the United Retriever Club. That's Bernard Hall. Bernard, first of all, how long have you been involved with gun dogs?
About 25 years.
Now, it is rather a specialist area, but there is more than one kind of gun dog. They have special characteristics.
Oh yes, indeed. You've got retrievers who basically do nothing else but retrieve. You have your spaniels, which get out, quarter the ground, flush the birds, sometimes retrieve. You have pointers and setters, which go out and they point to a bird and they stand on point until such time as the gun comes up and it's flushed and they can dispatch it. And you have the hunt, point and retrieve, who of course do all of those three things.
Do people choose areas where they say, I'm only going to deal with springers, or I'm only going
yes,
to... Yes,
yes. People sometimes like to have a specialist skill with their dog and they stay with it.
Now, in the ring behind you at the moment, there's a gamekeeper's class. How does that differ from a normal breed standard class?
Well, these are all working gun dogs, whereas those in the breed classes are not necessarily working gun dogs. They judge these, of course, with the Kennel Club standard in mind, but they come along from the shooting field, warts, scars, the lot, and they're judged for their physical condition and ability to do a day's work.
Smashing. Thanks very much, Bernard. We'll be hearing more from you during the course of the programme.
Thank you.
Now for the gun dog group judging, and a reminder of the points there, as Bernard Hall was just saying. They work in the field, doing such duties as pointing, retrieving, flushing, and setting game. They have to be sound and intelligent. Most important, with proper training, they do all that their owner asks. They have a range of qualities. Chesapeake Bay Retrievers, for example, with waterproof coats, Italian Spinonies with 4,200 dogs started a day, 25 best of breed are left. Ron Bradbury is the judge for the group, and he's selected 8 of those 25 for a closer look. And you probably recognise this first one we're looking at, show champion Starlight Express of Valset, known as Bonnie, and she was best in show here in 1988, owned and shown by Valerie Watkin, and I know, Bernard, you quite like this one.
I do indeed. This is an elegant breed. It always catches the eye. It was developed for work on the moors or in stubble and root crops. First shown as a breed in 1859 at Newcastle. And as you can see, it's a dog which is said to most typify the English country scene. Pity its ears caught up.
Yes, shame that. Doesn't like to show too well. The Hungarian Whistler now, Strigaya Fleet, known as Harvey, is owned by Sally Coote, and it's their first best of breed today. The dog's only 22 months old, so a good career ahead, probably.
And this is one of the hunt, point and retrieve breeds, comes from Hungary, of course. The judge will be looking for a dog which is robust and distinguished in this lovely russet gold colour. Coat short and straight and dense.
Very smart. Keith Groom from Coasley in West Midlands owns Anja, and they're repeating their best of breed success for the large Munsterlander from last year. British record holder, in fact, with 28 championship certificates.
And this is an all-purpose pointing and retrieving dog. Should be alert and energetic, strong and muscular, or it's pulling to one side.
It's a shame that, not showing as well as it might. The flat-coated retriever now, Chris Murray from Bedford owns Grey Plume Dixie, who's known as Faye, and it's another first best of breed for them today.
And flat coats are fine land and water retrievers. They come in solid black or liver, and it's one of the earliest specialist land retrievers created in Britain. The flat coat should be racy but never weedy, and this one looks very well, doesn't it, against that green?
Very smart. Mr. Bradbury also liked another retriever, this one owned by Marion Hopkinson of Doncaster, a 2-year-old Labrador, show champion Rockby Popcorn, the top-winning Labrador bitch in 1991.
And of course the Labrador should be a happy dog, strongly built and short-coupled, as this one is. The Labrador wasn't granted Kennel Club recognition until after the turn of this century, but since then it's grown on to be everything from a shooting dog to a drug sniffer.
Very much your breed, this one, isn't it?
Yes.
Michael Bottomley and Tiffany just can't stop winning. This is an American Cocker Spaniel imported from America as a champion. They won best of breed here last year as well.
And the breed is a smart one which has become popular in the English show ring. And the American Cocker, as we know the breed, was not seen on the English show benches until 1960s. First registered in 65, covers a lot of ground for what is basically a small dog, stretching out its long neck to produce a spectacular outline.
Really all coat, isn't it? Beautiful.
Yes.
This one you should recognise, last year's Best in Show, show champion Crufts socialite, known as Garfield, the 3-year-old Clumber Spaniel with owner Ralph Dunn. And it's their best of breed, their third here at Crufts.
And of course the dog is known to everybody in the country, I should think, but the Clumber is distinctive not only because of that, but in its name and in its appearance. One of the heaviest of the land spaniels, has a wonderful nose, may not work at the pace of its lighter colleagues, but is useful in heavy cover.
And they do it again. Well, last May, owner Alison Gates considered stopping showing this 2.5-year-old Weimaraner. Show champion Linosa Lily Lace. I think it was a good decision of hers to keep going.
And this breed is sometimes known as the Grey Ghost. It should represent a picture of power, stamina, and balance. And this one's moving very well, and another one showing up quite well in the ring today.
Very smart indeed, lovely coat.
Yes.
So, Ron Bradbury now has to make his final decision. He's judged gun dog groups since 1983. He serves on the Kennel Club Show Executive Committee. He certainly knows his dogs. What's he going to choose? It's a difficult group, this. In there are 2 previous Best in Show winners. Is he going to choose one of them? Is he going towards the Clumber? No, it's the American Cocker Spaniel, show champion Homestead's Tiffany with Boduff, with Michael Bottomley, local couple there from Hampton in Arden. They're winning their 14th group. This really is the big one for them. Delightful, shaking hands with the owner of the reserve, Ralph Dunn, with the Clumber, old Garfield. But Tiffany wins. What does Ralph Dunn think about it all? Is he disappointed?
Runner-up this year. It wasn't to be 2 years running, but it was close.
It was close. It was more nerve-wracking this time.
Was it? Why?
Yes. I think you knew what could happen, and the anticipation of what could happen, and trying to not let that sink into your mind and just concentrating on the dog. It's very
had a marvellous year since you won last year.
Yes, wonderful year.
How's Garfield reacted to it?
Oh, great. He's just taken everything in his stride, and he seems to come to life on the green carpet.
Michael Bottomley, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Tiffany looks suitably pleased.
Yes, we both are.
Now, you've obviously been building to this all year. You've done a lot of winning this year.
Yes, she's been top gun dog for 2 years. She's only been shown for 15 months. And to win 43 CCs and 13 groups and 14 now is tremendous.
Marvellous. Now, she's not British bred, is she?
No, she was born and bred in Nebraska by some friends of mine. And I bought her father, then went over to a big show in New Jersey, saw her as a rough 13-month-old and bought her.
Now she's a very unrough
Never regretted
4-year-old.
it. Never regretted it.
She's marvellous.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's the first stage of the competition.
It is, yes.
Good luck in the finals.
Thank you very much.
Smashing group, that, and a very worthy winner, I think. On Thursday and Friday, there was the highly competitive obedience championships taking place here. There's 2, one for the dogs, one for the bitches. The 2 winners, well, the dog competition was won by Dot Watts with her obedience champion Biscuit Dan. They've been 12 years coming to Crufts trying to win this, and they've finally done it. Very popular win, that. And in 4th place in that same competition was the lady next to her, Mary Ray, with her obedience champion Red Hot Toddy. But that is actually a Tervuren. It's obedience champion Minack Red Arrow, because that's Mary Ray, and they won the bitch competition. Marvellous for them, that. And if this sounds a bit like the Mary Ray show, I'll tell you, she was in evidence again when it came to the agility competition, because she was actually there in the rugby dog training team, which won through to the final, together with Pearlie and Coulston, and also with Barking, who won through in the semi-final today, together with the Kingdom of Fife Athletic Club. The final of that actually takes place here tomorrow.
And I can tell you that roar of approval in the ring was because our judge, Mrs. June Mintz, has actually chosen the best in breed in the utility group while we've been on the air. She's given it to the Whippet. It's called Champion Penco Dutch Gold, known as Dutch at home. It comes from Kilmarnock. That is the winner. It's the top utility dog. The Whippet has won. It's a 2 3/4-year-old dog, known as Dutch at home. And apparently this is the first time it's been made a champion, and it's very much top dog at home. Certainly top dog here this evening, this Friday evening, being chosen while we were on the air. Therefore, we now have, what, 5 of our group winners, and we'll see Dutch again tomorrow when we return for the Supreme Champion. But as I say, we've got some other groups that we can give you news of as well, because yesterday we also had the utility group. Now, what is a utility dog? Well, according to the Kennel Club, it's any dog that doesn't fit into one of their other groups. So you've got 24 breeds covering every sort of activity, from water dog to carriage follower, and they come from as far apart as Tibet and Israel. And you can get some idea of the diversity of the group from the lineup, from the very small, elegant Shih Tzus to the giant Leonbergers. Really quite a range for the Finnish judge, Mr. Hans Leitinen, to cast an eye over. He picked out 8, and first it was the Dalmatian champion, Olympic star of Olbero, a 4-year-old bitch from Welwyn Garden City. A family dog. This one was bred by Sally Stanton and is being shown by her mum, Pat.
And of course the Dalmatian is a typical example of a breed which was developed to enhance people. It was used as a carriage dog. That meant it had to be tough, keep up with the horses, steady pace, rather like the marathon runner of the canine world.
This Japanese Akita is no stranger to winning. Overhill's Cherokee Light Fruit was top puppy for 2 years and then top bitch in 1988 and 89.
And you can, of course, see what a good example of the breed this one is. The breed was first registered here in 81. It's a large dog, powerful and alert. It has an outer coat which is coarse and an undercoat which is soft and dense, and it should have plenty of good drive. Look at this.
Tremendous power in those hindquarters. The biggest dog in the group, the Leonberger. 29 of them came to Crufts, and it was Leonbergette's crusader from Atlantis at Manor Guard who took top honours. I'm sure you'll be pleased to know that at home in Enfield they call him Yabba.
Well, this is a faithful and intelligent breed of dog. Should be strong, muscular, and it's got webbed feet. Stands up to 32 inches in the dog.
Little Dolly Daydream at Silo, the Lhasa Apso. She looks gorgeous with that long silky coat, doesn't she? But she gives her owner, Jeff Corish, nightmares because he can't keep her out of water. That would be a problem with a coat like that, Bernard.
Yes, it would indeed. A very long coat. Numerically, the Lhasa Apso is the strongest breed in the utility group today, and it's one of the dogs which rewards you for attention paid to its coat. Beneath that flowing mantle, there should be a well-balanced, sturdy animal with a somewhat aloof oriental temperament.
Well, always a favourite with the crowds, the largest of the poodles, the Standard. This is American champion Donahue at Sri Lanka. He was imported just over a year ago and is proving to be something of an extrovert.
Oh, I think this one must be, yes. The Standard, of course, is the largest of the 3 varieties. It's a breed which started life as a water dog in Germany, and the Standard was a large gun dog. All poodles like this should be well balanced, elegant looking, and with a hint of pride in the way they carry themselves.
One of the smallest of the Spitz breed, the Schipperkes. They originally worked on barges in Holland and Belgium, but champion Radash Old Clutie, I suspect, has an easier life of it at home in Cumbria with his owner and handler, Rosie Archer.
I'm sure he does. And as you said, Angela, it's a small, cobby, active dog. Tail is customarily docked in the breed. The coat is virtually waterproof, which it needed to be while working on barges.
Well, this little charmer caught Mr. Leitiner's eye, the Tibetan Spaniel, Clidum Sunbeam over Jemet, or Pebbles, who's apparently rather partial to chewing at rose bushes.
Well, the Tibetan Spaniel is a positive little dog. He's outgoing in temperament, physically quite strong, and the sort of dog which ignores its own size and really thinks it's a Great Dane. It's a dog which you can say enjoys life. Look at this one.
And finally, the Tibetan Terrier, Gandaki Golden Puff of Dust at Bedivere. Well, never mind that she's only around 15 inches high. She reckons that she's as big as the family's Old English sheepdog.
Well, if you could liken the Tibetan Spaniel to a town dog, then the Tibetan Terrier, this one, is his country cousin. It's a rural dog who worked for his living, guard, herding dog, and believed to have been the original holy dog of Tibet.
Well, Mr. Leighton kept the audience and the competitors guessing as he got them to run out at least twice more before finally deciding on the standard poodle, the American champion, Dasin Donahue at Sri Lanka. While the reserve rosette goes to that little dog with a big heart, the Tibetan Terrier, Gandaki Golden Puff of Dust at Bedivere, or Puffin, a proud moment for her joint owner and handler, Stan Price. But let's hear now from the winning owner, who's with Peter Purvis.
You call him Jake. He's obviously going to win a lot in the future. Hello. Yeah, nice to see you. Do you want to say something?
I think so.
Well, is it a surprise?
Yeah, it's amazing. I lost my voice. No, it's really wonderful.
He's won in America, hasn't he? He's an American.
Yeah, he's done a lot of winning, yeah. Yeah, he's only 2 now, so he did a lot out there. Plus he's had the 6 months in quarantine, and this is his 6th show here.
Well, I mean,
so it's wonderful.
Well, you can come to Crufts tomorrow yourself if you wish to see the working group judging. That starts in the outside rings at 9 o'clock. But I must say that if you do want to see the best in show, the Supreme Champion being chosen, all the ringside seats around the main arena have already been sold. But there's still plenty to see in all of the outside rings. It'll cost you just £6 to get in with the usual reductions, and car parking and rail transport are very easy. All you have to do is head for the NEC or Birmingham International Station.
Or, of course, you can stay at home, put your feet up and join us here on BBC Two at 7:15. Incidentally, I got carried away in the excitement of the moment. The Whippet didn't win the utility. Of course, it was the Hound group, which we've just seen, and you can see more highlights from that group tomorrow, along also with the working dogs and the terriers. And the most important moment when they choose the Supreme Champion here at Crufts for 1992. So see if you can make a date with us tomorrow evening, 7:15, BBC Two. Till then, from all of us here in Birmingham, good night.